Hi, AJ Hartley here, novelist, Shakespeare professor, baby metal fan. I'm not going to talk to you about baby metal today. I thought I would take a little break and talk about something else. I'm going to talk about a song by a band called Atarashii Gakko no Leader, um, or just Atarashii Gakko, uh, which means, so the full name means new leaders of the new school. Yeah. And I'm sure some of you have come across these guys, but I don't think they have anything like the same footprint that baby metal do. So I thought this is a way of introducing them to people who maybe have been watching my videos, but maybe not familiar with these. It's very different. They're, again, they grow out of an idol tradition, but their approach to it is quite different. They're still sort of emerging, and I hope you like it. And this song is called Otona Blue. Enjoy.
Otona Blue. 欲しいんでしょ艶やかなこの唇柔らをどこ立ち引き寄せる生き物無法度に甘い水
I gotta stop it there. I love, man, it's so great. First, what a surprise that voice is if you don't know these guys. That the look and the playfulness of the song, including the school uniforms, of course, makes you expect something a little different, and that voice comes in, and it's got a sort of a depth and power and strength to it that I think is a pleasant surprise. And and it fits, right? Because the song is about being on the cusp of adulthood, right? It's called Otona Blue, grown up, adult blues. And she's talking about, she says, you desire this, me, right? I get that. My shiny lips, it attracts people, attracts guys like a sweet fragrance or a nectar that takes your breath away, right? So she's conscious of being the object of attention, right? And then it goes on, begins with the same line. That look, that grin, right? The sort of seriousness. So the lyric goes, again, I know what you want. You looked at this body twice as I walk past alone and sweaty in the city, and I'm turned around by your inappropriate stare. And then right before that grin, she's like, so, what's going on in your mind? What are your intentions? Yeah. And then this sort of knowing, delighted grin. And then the song segues into the chorus part. I love this, man. And you see it already, we're shifting back into that sort of catwalky, sexy, performative, adult kind of dance. But right before that, we get those sort of goofy little sideways bunny hops and the playfulness of it. And the chorus, it's interesting because obviously it's got a sort of syntho-pop kind of feel, but it has a sort of retro tonality to it, I think. It reminds me of a song like Watashi wa Piano, which was a Southern All-Stars song from, I want to say, like 1980, that was covered by an idol singer. Oh man, I forget her name. Mizue Takada. Maybe I'll check. But it has that very sort of that same level melodic, no harmony in the vocal. You know, the backing singers performing that sort of quasi romantic, not a lot of emotional or character per se in the voice. That's part of the point. It emphasizes the melody, and but the words are, you know, imasuga, imasuga, you know. I don't want it soon. I want it now. I'm yearning for some adult love relationship. I might not look like it, but I still have some innocence inside, and my heart is the only impertinent body part. This is one of the translations that I saw online. But I'll keep pretending to be an adult while actually being a sort of a flower that hasn't blossomed yet, a bud, right? So this is what I mean about it being a song about being on the cusp of adulthood and being drawn to this sort of sexualized kind of world while simultaneously holding back from it. And you know my heart is the only. What's the line? Kokoro daka ga saki bashiru. Yeah. So there's something. I'm reserved, but my heart is kind of going out there, and it's that kind of connection that she's finally looking for. So the physical is a means to connection rather than an end in itself. But this is the source of her curiosity. And now we get back into this sort of, again, this catwalky dance stuff.
私のすべて冷めの日瞳まで魅了するいつかは花になるアマリリーズ
So again, you know, her dance is sort of separated from the others as they're doing this sort of the again the catwalky kind of performativity, very adult, very controlled, and hers is sort of goofier and more adolescent, consciously. So again, I know what you desire. My body is excited, and I or exciting, and I can sort of charm or draw in even people who don't seem initially interested. And then Itsukawa Hane. So someday, one day in the future, I'll become like an amaryllis flower blooming, opening up. Someday, but not now, right? So there's this, again, that sort of liminal quality on the edge of maturity. 'Cause, you know, the little sideways head bob thing, that's worth the price of admission alone, along with the little sideways bunny hop. Just great. And the way that it sort of puts the whole thing in inverted commas somehow, you know? And the chorus this time says, using nice words isn't enough. Kotoba janakute. I want you to connect to my heart. And using words that can't be concealed by regular makeup. So there's a sort of a desire for something beneath superficial appearance, right? And I'm sort of dreaming about that. But once again, I act like an adult in front of you. So there's this sense of performing like an adult while not being one. And I think this thing about superficial appearance is really interesting. These guys, the school uniform thing, the sailor uniforms, what they always wear, that's part of their thing, which is part of the name of the band, of course. Atarashii Gakko no leader. leaders of the new school, and so they're presenting themselves as schoolgirls, kinda, and so the actual appearance, the hairstyles are distinctive. That's also part of their thing. Each one has a different hairstyle, but they're not going for a glam look, right? They're not going for sort of heavy makeup or fancy clothes in the way that a lot of idol groups do. There's this sort of embracing of this ordinariness while also being conscious of the way that they are perceived, which I think is really interesting.
いいね。いい。
So in each case, Suzuka calls each of the other girls out to do their little performative moment, sort of egging them on. Great.
そっちじゃなくてまっすぐがいいの大人の恋に焦がれて見た目よりも残るあどけない気持ちだけが空回る私を見つけた私だけの言葉じゃ
Again, I don't want it soon. I want it now. I'm yearning for some adult love. I might not look like it, but I still have some innocence inside. Using only your feelings is sort of in vain, right? That feelings alone aren't enough. You need to come and find me. And again, using nice words is not enough. So we're using the appearances to make some other kind of connection. And I love this the juxtaposition right there of this sort of theatrical anguish on the one hand and the playfulness on the other. Right? This is what I was talking about when I was talking about metatara, and I was talking about meta music which is conscious of itself as music. This is exactly it, and it's part of why I love these guys, because in some ways there are points of similarity to baby metal, and there are points of radical difference. And the similarity is that they both emerge out of this idol music tradition as a girl band, right? But then they both have sort of are transcending it, moving beyond it. And baby metal do it with sincerity and strength and power and that sort of epic fantasy kind of self-presentation. These guys are kind of doing the opposite, right? One of the things I love about baby metal is that sincerity, the candor, the way that they go all full on, full-throated, emotional earnestness, straight, absolutely, no self-mockery 90% of the time. These guys do the opposite. These guys transcend their idol culture by making fun of it, right? By drawing attention to themselves as idol singers and parodying it, right? The whole thing has a kind of wry, arch, performative irony built into it. It's all there, especially, I think, in the way that Suzuka does it. And a lot of this, I think, comes from the personality of the girls themselves, which, again, is unusual in idol culture, or in traditional idol culture, where the girls were sort of forced to fit a sellable model. I think with these guys, we're starting to see that the band is steadily evolving in the direction of the personality of the band members.
ブルー
Wow. So great, that there's actually a sort of poignancy there at the end, they're talking about dreaming of, finding these relationships, connecting with the heart and all that sort of stuff. And then the last bit, oikakete, I'm chasing after this, right? Before she was, at the beginning, the sense was that she was a little distant from it, critical of it even. But then the confession in the chorus is that I actually want this. I want it now. But as I chase it, even as I chase it, the oikakete repetition, mata Otona Blue. So mata meaning still or returning these adult blues. And I think that it's a really interesting choice of phrase because the suggestion is that the blues are adolescent blues in a way that I'm not quite mature enough. I'm not there yet. And I want to grow up faster, right? It's a very adolescent idea. But there's also that glimpse of a genuine adult problem that this attraction, sexuality and stuff doesn't necessarily create the kind of connection that she really wants, right? And when she sings that Otona Blue at the very end, there's a real sort of melancholic insight into the delivery, which is then immediately undercut by the goofy, playful dance stuff, right? And striking the pose at the end there. I think it's inspired. I think it's brilliant. And it's great, you know, that's the other thing, right? That it's not just that it's insightful and interesting and clever, which it is, but it's fun and it's great to watch, and you should go out and get more stuff by these guys because they're awesome. These guys obviously are not as big as a lot of idol bands, or not as big as baby metal, certainly outside Japan. So they recently hit 1 million views on YouTube, and I want to show you this because I'm saying, you know, how the band is starting to imitate the personality of its membership, which I really like. It gives them more agency, more control of the direction of the thing, and it represents who they are. And this is a great little insight into who these people are, right? So on receiving word that they had received 1 million views on YouTube, they responded thus.
Thank you! 1 million views! 5, 6, 7, 8 スクール学校スクール学校あらどっこいスクール学校スクール学校あらどっこいわっジョギンジョギンイエーイ1 million
How awesome is that? Okay, I mean, that's all. That's all you need to know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more stuff from them. They have another single out right now called 999989, and there's a great video that goes with. There's an official video which is set in the school, which is cool. There's also a video of them doing it simply in a dance studio, which I actually like better because we just get to kind of see them doing their stuff, kind of goofing around a little bit, but focusing just on the dance, which is really something, you know, so it's great. So I hope you like this. If you hadn't come across these guys before, check them out. Atarashii Gakko no Leader, or just Atarashii Gakko. And yeah, and as ever, like, comment, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Cheers.